right, we're actually at the MSI booth, and we've just spotted some very nice looking graphic cards. They're all 1080 Ti's, but they're all different. So I'm going to start off with the top of the line, their legendary Lightning series. This is the 1080 Ti Lightning Z. It's obviously got Mystic Light, which is their version of Aura. It's got a customizable nameplate, obviously, so you can change the colors and stuff. It's got the new Torx 2 fan, which looks pretty good. And what actually sets this card apart is it's actually meant to be overclocked. It's meant to be pushed hard. There's three 8-pin power connectors on this card. Unlike all of the others, most of them have 2 8-pin. This has 3, so you know you're talking serious power here. Really, really chunky. This is probably the fattest card in the lineup. It's almost 3+ slot design, so the cooler's fat. It's really, really chunky. And it also has some of the highest clocks we've seen. So it's got 1721 megahertz in its lightning mode, which is also very, very nice. So it's clocked pretty high. You should have no problem overclocking this to practically 1900 plus on air. And yeah, this is the return of their Lightning series. It's a legendary series, and it's back with the 1080 Ti. Next up, we have their 1080 Ti Seahawk. Now this is a custom water cooling card. It comes with a full block attached, pre-attached, so you don't have to do it yourself. The beauty about this is it's been done in conjunction with EK and MSI, so it's got all the it's got the artwork, it's got the branding, and it comes pre-attached, so you don't even have to worry about losing your warranty, voiding a warranty when you want to put a water block or anything like that. So if you're thinking about water cooling your system, unless you want something like a Lightning that's been water cooled, you know, this is more than enough for most people. Again, with water, you should see extremely low temperatures, and you should see very good clocks as well. With the NVIDIA GPU Tune 2.0, the card's going to overclock by itself, provided the temperatures are low. So, very nice solution here from EK and MSI. It's called the 1080 Ti Seahawk EK X. Next up, we have their slightly cheaper version of the 1080 Ti. It's called the 1080 Ti Armor. Now, this is a simpler design. It's just 2 fans. It fits in a dual slot. It fits in 2 slots. It's not like it's not a super chunky design that uses 3 slots and stuff. So it'll fit in 2 slots. 2 8-pin power connectors. Obviously has illumination built in as well. I can see from this side. And yeah, all in all, it should be pretty good. If you don't need this kind of horsepower, or if you don't need this kind of grunt, well, then you have the 1080 Ti Armor. Next up, we actually have probably the cheapest 1080 Ti they make. It's almost a take on a reference card design, but not quite. It's a blower type design. This is called the GTX 1080 Ti Aero, and of course it has all the good stuff that a 1080 has, but 1080 Ti has. But this has 1 8-pin, 1 6-pin. So that should also tell you something about the way this card will overclock. It's not going to overclock as high as all the other cards, but if you just want a 1080 Ti in your system, then this is one of the cheapest ways to get it, the 1080 Ti Aero. Next up, we have the 1080 Ti Duke. Now, this is a brand new design from them. This is somewhere in the middle of the Lightning and the gaming lineup. So again, 3-fan design, pretty chunky cooler, but it will fit in a 2-slot space. So if you don't have the space rather for the gaming or the Lightning, which are both 2.5 and 3-slot designs, but you still want really good clocks and stuff like that, you can either water cool it or you can pick up the 1080 Ti Duke. Again, this has 2 8-pin power connectors, so this one should overclock much higher than the Aero, in the similar range as the gaming and the Lightning on air. And last but not least, we've got probably the most well-known card from MSI, which is the 1080 Ti Gaming X. Now this design and this card, everybody knows. It's been done before, but they have the 1080 Ti now with this design. Should overclock really well. And again, this card also takes 2 8-pins, not 3. So 1 step below the Lightning, but still more than enough for your gaming applications and even for normal professional use for people who are into video rendering and stuff like that. So this is a great card to look at. The Lightning would be, if you're seriously into overclocking and you want to push your GPUs, then you look at the Lightning. But for most people, I think this should be more than enough. Well, that's about it for the new GPUs from MSI. all the various 1080 Ti models, and we'll be covering some of their other motherboards pretty soon, so stay tuned.